Hey guys, it's Chloe. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. So, we've talked about what men should be avoiding in a wife. Now, today, let's talk about women and what they should be avoiding when choosing their husbands. Now, this clip, I think, is truly frightening. So, when I saw what I'm about to show you, it was upsetting just to think that there are so many people in these kinds of situations, and it could be avoided if we just make better decisions. So let's go ahead and watch it. Okay, so this video is a great example of probably the number one thing a woman should avoid, and that is an abusive person. Now, this clip takes place at a man's wedding. Now, I don't know about you, but for most people, their wedding should be the happiest day of their lives. I'm not really sure what was bothering this man, but the fact that he is visibly angry during this event is worrisome. He is angry enough to grab his wife's hand forcibly while they were cutting the cake. I'm assuming he has family and friends that were at the wedding, and he does not even care that he's acting so foolishly in front of them. The fact that he starts breaking a wine bottle and people have to try to stop him is definitely frightening, in my opinion. I personally would not want that wife to go home with this guy. I believe that this is something that women must avoid at all costs. Now, I need to say that I have also seen men that have been abused, and they also must avoid this at all costs. But since we're talking about women in this video, this is going to be my focus. So some women have a boyfriend or someone they're considering marrying that is physically abusive. And the interesting thing is that many times they can't see it as abnormal, or they're not willing to admit the way their significant other is treating them. So many times they keep telling themselves that this person is going to change, and they stay in a relationship putting themselves in danger. Listen, I completely understand that once you get attached to a person, it's hard to let go. You keep wanting to hold on to hope that this person will one day change. But when it comes to physical abuse, you just can't play with that kind of fire. If you are a person in this kind of relationship, you must really stop and think about your future. Think about your future children and the abuse that they will have to go through. I know that this is hard, but believe me, you will find someone else that loves and cares for you and that will not treat you this way. Your husband or significant other is supposed to protect you. You are not supposed to need protection from them. I especially feel for young girls that do not have male figures in their lives. So many times, dad or a father figure will step in when they sense that something is wrong. If you notice that a family or friend is going through this situation, I think the best thing to do is at least try to help them and explain to them the consequences of staying in a relationship like this, and give them hope that there is something better for them. Or if you are a person in this kind of relationship, I want to let you know that this is not normal. It is not normal to be physically abused by a spouse or significant other. I know it's hard. You can't see yourself without this person. But I promise you, once you find someone that is good to you, you will look back at your life and regret not leaving sooner. Now remember, I'm talking about physical abuse here. Some people throw the word abuse around for everything, but what I'm talking about is a serious issue. And you must know that there are many people and organizations that are willing to help you and talk you through this. So another trait to avoid is a lazy person. I feel like this is becoming more and more common nowadays, where there's a guy that just does not want to get a job. I know so many times some women excuse them, but there's no excuse for being lazy. Now, I'm not talking about someone who has had a stable job for a long time and maybe just gets laid off or a situation like that. I'm talking about there are people that just do not want to work, or they go from job to job because they just don't like any job. I'm just here to tell you that if you choose a person like this, you will struggle financially. I see families right now that are in this situation because of dad. Mom is trying her best to work many hours to support the family, and dad is relaxing at home. If you do not mind this kind of situation, then that's completely up to you. You have your own life, you make your own choices. But just as I warn my children about choosing a person like this, I'm just here to warn you about the struggle you are most likely going to have in your future. And I must say here that I believe most men are hard workers and provide for their families. At least most of the men I know. But there are a growing number of men that fit into this lazy category. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is an unfaithful person. Now, you would think that most people would know this one, but it surprises me how many people think marriage will fix all of their problems. Listen, just because you get married to someone doesn't mean that they are all of a sudden going to become a faithful person. You must see good qualities of faithfulness before marriage. If red flags around this topic are happening in your relationship, you really need to consider this. For example, if you caught them maybe talking or texting with just a friend of the opposite sex, especially in a flirtatious manner, don't excuse it. Or if family or friends are telling you that your significant other seems to have red flags, you really should try to be open to what they're saying and at least start to be alert. Believe me, you don't want this kind of hurt in your future. I know this is something we can't always predict, but sometimes there are obvious chads, as they call them, and there are a few things to look out for. One thing is a person's family and close friends. Sometimes a young man or woman is raised to believe that this behavior is okay. I mean, I've seen entire families of people who are unfaithful on purpose. Like, this is not a one-time event. This is who they are. And as crazy as this sounds, I've known mothers that tell their sons or daughters that they need to go out and party and have a full life, even though they're married with children. This is insanity to me. Also, remember, we choose our friends, and most of the time, we hang out with people that are like us, and friends have a huge influence in our lives. So just remember, if your significant other's close friends are a certain way, most likely they will be too. So be mindful of family and friends. You know, so many times people just make it obvious that they are like this, but women just don't pay attention. But you need to. And you need to know that there are good people out there, and you should be choosing wisely. Well, I'm going to end this video there. If you have anything you want to add, please leave it in the comments. And remember to like and subscribe. Also, my email is in the description. If you have any questions or a story to share, please email me. Remember to choose joy and make the right choices in life. Don't ignore the red flags. Bye now.